Hey y'all, it's Angela here again at the Chicken Coop, and I just wanted to show y'all something that's happened. I posted that video the other day, it's been a couple of weeks ago now, but I posted it about the capture of the bees. I had sent out a Facebook request about if anybody knew about anybody that could come capture that beehive. Well, through that, there is a subdivision that backs up to our property, and a lady contacted me from the subdivision, and her husband have a beehive in their backyard, and they're just getting in to taking care of bees, capturing beehives, that kind of thing. And so she contacted me, and I said, well, we already had somebody that come out and get the hive, but she said, we got to talking, and she has a lot of the same interests as I do. That's the thing about homesteading. When you do stuff like this, there's other people out there that love it and do it just like you do. So we got to talking, and so they came over and visited, and we're talking about us. And while we were talking, I had said something about, I would love to have a beehive, and the man that had captured our beehive had some people kind of in line for that. And so I didn't want to make a big fuss because he was doing us a favor by coming and getting that beehive. And he told me he would put me on his list as well. She said, well, my husband and I have been talking about that, and we kind of want to do that. And I said, really? And she said, yes, we have 2 hives that we're going to go and capture, and they're in buildings, and so we don't know, when we're going to do that. But if you're interested, we'll bring you a hive. And I said, well, of course, I'm interested. I said, well, what would it entail and everything? And she said, well, you would just be the hive host. And I said, okay. And I said, well, listen, we'll be glad to, help you with the purchase of the hive, or whatever monetary expenses there are to this. We'll be we're glad to help you all with that. She said, no, we would be the owners of the hive. Y'all would just be the host of the hive. She said what your duties would just be to kind of keep an eye out on the hive, make sure it's thriving, looking at it periodically, and just checking and making sure it's okay, and providing a place for us to have it. I said, that would be awesome. So anyway, a couple of weeks went by. She called me. She said, I think we're going to go get a hive here in this next couple of days. Would you be interested? And I said, yes, we would be interested. She said, the only thing is we need some sort of base and everything. And her husband and my husband had already talked about that, how the base needed to be and everything. So I said, okay, my husband will get a base ready. So they went down and captured the hive, and took them a couple of days because they wanted to leave the box there to make sure they had all the bees captured. So they ended up bringing the hive back late at night one night, and we did have the base here ready for them. And then they have come and checked on it a couple of times in between that to just make sure the hive is doing properly, and they're waiting on an extra box to be added to the top and a permanent top. This is just a travel top. It's not the permanent top on the hive. And then because they've also went and harvested another hive that was a very large hive, it had tons of honeycomb, that actually brought us honey already from that hive. And the other things that we would get from hosting this hive is that we would split the honey 50-50. Well, I was like, that's perfect for us because we have the garden, we have the place, and then we get some honey out of the deal. I mean, what could be better? If you don't really want to get into being working with bees, or if you're scared of bees or something like that, this would be a perfect opportunity. Now, I'm not saying every beekeeper would be willing to do it with those type of agreements, but that was their agreement with us, is that we just host it, they take care of it, maintain it, have all the expenses for it. We just get split the honey 50-50. And I was like, that is perfect. That's awesome. And they said, and you could be as involved as you want to be when we come over there and maintenance the hive. If you want to, put the mask and the hoods and all that kind of stuff on, and learn about that, we'll be glad to teach you. I was like, okay. So I just wanted to tell y'all about that opportunity about hosting a hive. And I'll show y'all our hive. And they said our hive was a very nice, well-established hive. It is a very docile hive, and it is a busy working beehive, because they said even just the next day when they came and checked on our beehive, that they had put some of the pieces of the honeycomb down in the hive, and the hive had already started attaching that honeycomb to the sides of the boxes. They were busy, and they said they are building like crazy. So we're going to have a very busy and active hive. And they were very excited too for this to be their first hive, that we live so close to them so they could keep a better eye on it, since they're just getting into this too. But so that's an idea. If you're interested, contact one of your beekeepers and see if you would be able to be a hive host. So let me show you my beehive. It's kind of late in the evening, and a lot of bees are just coming in and out, but you can see it's a pretty active hive. They're going in and out. That's one of the things he wanted us to look for. And during the day, when it's in the heat of the day, there are bees flying everywhere, just milling around, and I can sure notice a big activity in my garden of the bees. They have they're really around and in my garden, so that is a good thing. But see how they're just a busy little hive, and we are so excited. And he really liked, my husband, like I say, he threw this up kind of late at night one night because he wanted to make sure that he had it ready for him. But this was something that he just threw together, but the guy really liked it because he attached it to a tree and then drove those stakes into the ground to build the base, that there was no way that, you know, the wind is going to be able to topple that hive. And they actually have it strapped to the base of the that we provided, so it is very protected. This is kind of a low-lying area of our yard. I'll show that to you. It's kind of up here to the right is a ditch that has water, if not standing, but flowing pretty regularly. It's a big drainage ditch underneath the highway, so it's kind of a little babbling little brook, so it has pretty clean water going through there. My garden is close by, and of course, you know, just flowers and things, but they were very excited, and they feel like this is going to be a real healthy, active hive. Our property kind of drops off drastically. So there's the hill to our house, so it's a pretty good drop off. So it's well protected, and there's my garden. And then these are just some woods in the ditch next to our house. Right past all that wood and everything is where the ditch is, and it has good, clean water and everything down there.